So before we begin, I think we need to use this. Just to make sure, because this is not social distancing right now at all. You're way too close to me.
Are you kidding me?
Oh man. Just for the record, very little social distancing has been happening over the last couple of days in this home.
We'll keep it at that. We'll leave it there.
We don't have to tell you anything else, but
leave it at that.
If you want to enjoy your break, that's what you gotta do. All right, y'all. So, quarantine is, I guess, good for, not spreading the virus. But if you start thinking about the stuff that you lose from a relationship perspective, it kind of creates a new problem. And that is, I think most couples are used to the routine of going away, going to work, doing whatever they do during the day, and then coming back home. And usually that sort of ebb and flow of your natural day you get used to. And I think something like this, where now all of a sudden everything's shut down, your kids are at home with you, you and your spouse are at home, and it may create a problem because you're used to being apart sometimes and now you're together all the time. So we're wondering, is there a way to be able to survive what we call a couple quarantine? Is what this is, couples quarantine.
I know that I already have friends who are texting me and calling me saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this man every day. Or my kids, online learning. The parents are the ones that have to be teaching the kids, basically.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. How are you gonna survive if you don't like your husband or your wife?
Right.
And I'm talking about not like being with them.
Right. Because you can
for long periods of time.
You can love somebody and not like them that much, and be married to them.
That's my point.
Yeah. I found an article today that says that people in China who are no longer under quarantine, and the first thing they're doing is going and getting divorces.
Yeah, they're like calling in. I guess they have to call in somewhere or something, and they were like, it was like a long list of people who were trying to divorce. And it's like, okay, is it because you've been together so long you just can't take it anymore? Right.
So the article basically trying to figure out, is the divorce rate higher because people just spent 2 months together with nothing else to do?
Right.
So I'm wondering now if we're gonna be in trouble. This might be a problem.
Let's say we didn't like each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Or let's say there's a couple and the person one didn't like the other and they have to be together.
Right.
Let's say, the house is not that big, regular size house, whatever.
Yes.
And you have to wake up and they're there. They don't want to get out the bed. You don't want to get out the bed.
Right.
Or you're sitting watching TV. They want to watch something else. You want to watch something else.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, how could that be? Or one is working from home. The other one doesn't have to work from home.
Right.
Wait,
so that's very interesting because that's actually the situation.
Really what's happening to us right now.
That's the
You're
situation
working
right
from
now.
home. I'm on spring break.
Yes.
So it's like, you're working, but we might be doing other things that's disturbing him.
Right.
So it's like, how do you deal with that?
So I get into this routine during the school year where I'm used to everybody going their own way. I'm going to the office, April and the kids are going to school. There's a certain time of day when everybody comes back, or I have to pick up the kids, whatever. I can count on this amount of hours to get stuff done. And actually, I don't realize it until summertime hits, but there's a certain, I get to this point where I actually like my alone time. Not that I want to be away from anybody. I'm just used to a time when things are quiet and I don't have to necessarily answer 50 million questions. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the kids.
Oh, right.
And sometimes you. But anyway, there's just this thing that happens that you get used to, and then every year when summertime hits, I have to get used to a whole new normal.
No, seriously, guys, we argue at the beginning of every summer.
Every summer.
Because it's like, I'm expecting something, he's expecting something.
Right.
We have not talked to each other about what those things are.
That's true.
So then we end up arguing because I thought it was going to be a certain way.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the best thing to do, though, is when those situations come to, I think you just have to talk about it. You have to say, hey, we're going to be together for, I think it's going to be longer than,
it's probably
2 weeks. I think it's going to be longer than 14 days. It's going to be like a couple months.
I think it's going to be 8 weeks.
I think it's going to be a couple months, yeah.
Based on the last thing that we just heard from the governor and CDC and all that stuff, they're saying they think an 8-week quarantine is what's necessary to really bring the numbers down.
So I think that you have to sit down and say, look, we're going to be in this house for 8 weeks because it's really going to be in the house. You can't really go places and do stuff because nothing's open really.
True.
Nothing's going to be open.
They're closing out restaurants, all that now.
Exactly. So it's like we need to sit down and say, how is this gonna go?
Right. I think one of the things that has to happen is I think you guys have to have a conversation that says alone time is okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's an important aspect of relationship. Every relationship needs alone time, and I don't think it's something that either one of you should be offended about or get defensive or anything like that. It may not be that I don't like you. It may just be, in fact,
need some time.
That's right. And so April is actually an introvert. I'm an extrovert. And there are times, most days actually, when she's been with, she's a middle school teacher. There are times, most days, when after the day is over and she just drove home with our middle school and high school children, she needs some time. I let her go to the room, and sometimes she only needs like 15, 20 minutes.
I just need a few minutes. I just need some time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. To just calm down.
Decompress.
Get some quiet time. And it doesn't have to be that long.
Right. Right.
But during this time that we're together, though, you're going to have your kids around. So I feel like, people are going to have their kids around.
You're talking about during this quarantine.
Yeah. So I'm saying there has to be a conversation where you say, hey, I'm going to need you to, handle, especially when they're little. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need you to handle the kids so I can get some time.
Yes. So maybe you're saying couples might need to schedule time where one of them is with the kids so that the other one can be alone or something like that.
Something like that. Can watch a little Netflix, can kind of just chill. Right. Because that's a lot.
What if you want to do that for a whole day?
Every single day.
Can you say, you take Monday, I'll take Wednesday?
I mean, if you can handle that. I don't know if you can handle that. That's a lot. That's a lot.
I agree.
So I decided in this house, we were going to have a schedule.
Yes, and that's been working.
I created a schedule.
The kids were upset about it at first, but then they liked it today.
They were like, oh, this is really good. But, where you start off, you start off with worship. Yep. Then you have some reading time. You eat breakfast, mm-hmm. You have some reading time, and then you have your, studies where you do some, little math, a little...
They actually did that today, right?
Yeah, they did that today. They did their math and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then you go outside. You have to go outside. Right. And you have to get some exercise. Mm-hmm. And then come back and you can have some free time, then dinner, family time, worship, with the family or whatever. Game time, game board or something like that. I also
had to wash the dishes after
that was their family time?
No. We had family time, then they washed the dishes.
That's true.
Yes.
And then they got some movie time. So I think that helps.
It does.
And it helps the parents so that the kids know, and even if they're little, I feel like you can put them on a schedule and it can be like, okay, here's the timer and you have to do this for 10 minutes. And if the kid can see the timer, they know. And maybe that can be some time you can get away. Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of frustration. Right. Maybe fussing at the kids because they're doing stuff you don't want them to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to make this a pleasant time in a way, or you actually might start not liking your spouse.
So you think it's possible that something like this could make it actually so that you end up disliking your spouse where you thought before the quarantine that you liked them?
Or just that they get on your nerves, or they're irritating and you need a break, you need to get out. I don't know. But I think you need to go outside and go for a walk by yourself, or something like that.
I actually think that all of this is easy to say right now because in this house, it's only been a couple of days, and it doesn't really feel like it's any different. This actually feels like you guys were on spring break.
Right.
And it's only been a couple of days.
I think 14 days is going to be like Christmas break. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? But it's going to be after that.
Once we start getting to like 2 months, I'm trying to figure out how we're not going to go stir crazy. Part of being a man for me is I have to feel like I'm not in any way limited. I want to be able to feel like I can go anywhere I want at any time. And just the thought of knowing that I can't leave, or that if I do leave, there's nothing open, I think that will change things.
Well, you might just need to take a drive.
You're right, maybe.
Or go ride your bike around the neighborhood. I'm just saying, you have to, I think if you have those things in mind, because if you don't, you actually might lose your mind. You actually might go crazy.
You're right.
And crazy. People might start getting on your nerves. Right. And you might get into arguments because I think, for me, I want to do spring cleaning. I'm ready to throw out stuff.
We're doing that.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Let's be a little bit more minimalist. And it could be that I begin to get a little bossy.
Could. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I forgot we're live.
I'm just saying. Telling people what they need to do. And can you hurry up and get this done? Can you take this out? So I know that I have to make sure that I don't do that. If I have it in the forefront of my mind, okay, I can be like this. Yes. Let me make sure that I go in differently, that when we do these things together, I'm not gonna be boss lady.
And my issue is that I get very annoyed very quickly.
Yes.
and stuff like this makes me annoyed faster, and I have to just make a mental note that I can't lose my cool. I can't just be flying off at the handle at the kids for no reason, or snappy at you, or whatever. I have to be aware of that.
And normally during breaks, we don't have to think about those things, because when we're on a break, everybody's chill.
On a break, it's a lot more fun. We're going to the beach.
Exactly.
We're going to museums.
Yeah.
We have family time scheduled. We're just staying in the bed all day. Whatever it is, we're doing stuff in a way that we know we don't have to work.
Yeah.
We can just chill with each other. It's fine. But I think in this case, it's like there's a bunch of uncertainty. We're not positive what this disease is doing. Seriously, like no joke, April and I have been taking our temperature every day. Like literally before we came home, we just took our temperature.
I was going around taking everybody's.
We took everybody's temperature yesterday.
It was like,
this is definitely not like a real vacation. We're off, kind of. The reason for being off is not the kind of reason you want to be off.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of stuff, a lot of anxiety that's going around and stuff like that. So I really feel like everybody's got to realize we're not our normal selves right now. Probably our worst selves are going to come out relationship-wise.
No, really, because
seriously, if we're not careful, we're
I'm
going to
start working in 2 weeks.
Right, that's the other thing. You're going to have to start working,
And I'm going
teleworking.
to have parents.
Oh my
I'm going to have students.
Listen, your parents are not going to know how to log on to stuff. The kids ain't going to have no clue how to do the homework. Your stuff's about to be crazy.
So I'm saying, I know that, like, if I just get my mind ready, you know what I'm saying? And like, having each other's back, you know, supporting each other.
We're in this together.
We're in this together.
Yes.
And I may need you to go to another room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But being okay with saying, hey, I need some time.
Okay, babe. Here's the question.
That's what I'm saying. We have to be like, you gotta go help the kids right now.
The person whose love language is quality time, and their quality time is high, like super high. That person probably is going to feel some kind of way about the suggestion that we be apart from each other.
Yes,
I'm saying, how do you convince that person that it's okay, that it's not about you, that I don't dislike you? That maybe you could say to them, you know, we need to go away so that we can come back together. You know, that come back together so much better when we're apart. You know, let's be apart for a little while.
Right. I don't think that's gonna bother anybody if it's said in love. You know what I'm saying? I just think you have to be able to say, you know, I'm gonna need some time, you know, for your job or whatever. And if you know your spouse, you know I'm an introvert, you know I need a moment.
Yes.
Come on. I mean, we should be able to say, hey, I need this. But I think it'll be worse if you don't say it and then you yell it or you get irritated and you're like, look, I just got to get away. That's when I think, that's why I feel like it should be where you talk about it, you set your expectations up front, you let your kids know from the beginning. We're gonna make a schedule. So what I did with my kids, I said, you get Saturday night and you get Sunday to binge. You can binge on your video games, you can binge on your TV shows, your movies, whatever. Because Monday,
hopefully that helps you. You can survive this couple quarantine time.
Just communicate about that.
Yeah, you have to. By the way, there's one more thing we always suggest, which is like the best thing ever, we think. And that is the other thing that God created in the garden in the beginning. You know what I'm talking about? So do more of that.
That's true. You'll be very happy.
Yeah. You should be fine. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for watching Jess, John, and April.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also hit that notification bell to be notified about our next episode.
See you next time.
Bye.